Hey everyone.
How you doing?
Hello. How are you?
Good.
I'm just waiting to see if anybody comes in. It's nice to meet you, and I appreciate you coming up and helping.
Yeah.
Maybe give people advice or
Yeah, no
answer
problem.
questions or whatever.
It's an honor to be here.
Now, that was crazy.
Can
Trying to
you
get
hear
my
me?
Bluetooth to connect.
Can you
Yeah,
hear
I'm
me?
just trying to get my Bluetooth to connect.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
No, 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 no. I don't want to do that. Okay. Can you talk now? Let me see if I got you on my earbud.
I can hear you.
Okay. Wrong. It's not going to work. This one's not. I don't know what's wrong with it. I have to put my other one in.
You're okay.
Oh, Lord have mercy. All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not connecting. Huh.
Take your time. You got plenty of time.
Yeah. It's just going to be a pain. Oh, they said my live's stuck. I might have to start again. They said
Is
they
it on
can't
my
get
end?
in. No, it's on mine.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know what. Well, it said that whenever I got on here, that it had a high frequency of people using it.
Oh,
So
gotcha. I know what
yeah,
that's like.
pain in the butt. I told them to refresh and then try and then let me know.
No worries.
Let's see.
Your ticker is working good. I can see that going across the screen.
Yeah, it's working. I don't know why they can't get in. I mean, man, if I have to start over, I'm gonna be so mad.
It happens.
It's never done that to me before. That's crazy.
You'll figure it out, I'm sure.
Maybe. I haven't done many lives. So oh shoot. Okay, there we go. There's Doug. Hey, Doug. Good to see you.
Okay, I can see people now. People are getting in the chat. Hey, guys, welcome in.
Oh, shoot. Okay, I'm back. It's just not going to work. Oh, well.
You're good.
Richie, will you let... oh, never mind. You're in here. I was going to tell. Why am I getting a pop-up on my phone? Oh. Everyone, this is from Inside Out Networks. He's also a prison advocate. And he's... I've been talking to him. God, we talked about almost 3 o'clock this morning or something. It was a while. And he's helping me with my son and getting my son's story out there and everything. And
just trying to help.
Coming in. Well, first and foremost, I'm going to go ahead and address this before anything else. Pardon me. I'm sorry it's going to make a bad impression on you the first time, but I got to do it. Anna, I'm going to tell you this one time and one time only. You had your chance to come up here and defend yourself when you was talking shit. You didn't do it. I said what I said. And I'm over it. You move on. I move on. You keep my name out your mouth. I'm done, you little Miss Piggy wannabe. I mean, you look like you're, an inbred little Miss Piggy. So, that's just going to be that. You tried to start shit in 2 different chats today. And it's uncalled for. You want to start shit, start on your channel. Don't be taking it in everybody else's. And this is the last time I'm addressing it. And I don't put your name in my mouth. Don't put my name in yours.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I can't handle people trying to just.
My good friend Tammy's in here. Her name, her channel, her Truthful Tam is what we call her. She's also here to help. She's part of my team.
Oh, okay. Hi, Tammy. Nice to meet you.
Welcome in, Tammy.
I'm going to update on my my son's case or whatever.
Yeah.
Real quick, because I usually try to do whatever live whenever I go live. They got me lifted from the bankruptcy, so that part's over with. I'm just waiting on my part to go to court now. But this is just for the prom care stuff. Let's see. I was able to get my boyfriend out of jail. He finally got home Thursday of last week. He's doing good. Mm-hmm. You know, like I told everybody here my last live, if you have anyone that's incarcerated, you know, they can't be a voice for themselves while they're incarcerated. You know, their voice is taken from them. Because anything they say or do is being held against them, and it's being, you know, they just abuse them, or, you know, they find ways to just nitpick at them or take their tray or whatever. Yeah, you know, so you have to be the voice for them. You call their attorney. I don't care if you have to call them 5 times a day, whatever. Correct. You go to their office. Mm-hmm. You know, if they got a probation officer and you're dealing with a probation violation, you call that probation officer, leave them messages, whatever you got to do, you know, because if you don't, then nobody else is going to.
Yep.
Because 90% of the time when people get locked up, they don't have anybody but maybe one person that's willing to stay out here and help them.
Correct.
So, but if anybody has any questions about that or whatever, y'all can ask and I'll answer them as the chat goes on or whatever. And
yeah, basically,
if you want to introduce yourself and tell them, you know, a little bit about what you do. And
sure, absolutely. Thank you for giving me that opportunity. But I was gonna say, for what you were saying, you have to do your due diligence when it comes to all this prison type activity, inside and out. No pun intended. Yeah. You know, and we can't give up on our locked up loved ones. You have to have a certain amount of backbone, I guess, in a sense. And you can't be scared, if that makes any sense to you guys out there watching right now, and her. You have to have a
believe me, I lost my son when he was incarcerated, in state custody. So they don't scare me. That's the last thing they're going to do.
Yes, ma'am. But I was just saying, in general, you have to have some certain type of, backbone or toughness about you. Or if you show one sign of weakness, they'll walk over. Correct. But anyways, thank you so much for having me, Wanda. I do appreciate you over there. And
I appreciate you coming.
Yeah, well, I'm just here to, like I said, I wear my heart on my sleeve, if some of you don't know that. And I like to help out as much as people as I can, because I truly believe that if we don't do it, who will? Because DOC and government's not going to do anything. So,
absolutely.
So that's why I do what I do. I've been doing this since 2018. I was currently locked up in my home state where I'm at. I'm currently living in Florida, but I'm from Washington State, for you people that don't know that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I did some time over there for a crime I did not commit. And so basically what happened to me when I was a little bit younger turned me into what you see here today. This is why I do this, so I can avoid this happening with somebody else, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So I've been the voice for the voiceless since 2018, since I started this podcast. So it's 6 years old. And now I belong to an LLC. So I've been doing this for quite some time now. And, I love to help people and advocate for people. So that's what we're here for. So if you guys have any questions in the chat, please let me know.
Let's see. Hey, Rocky. Hey, Kitty. Make sure I say hi to everybody.
Yeah, everybody. It looks like everybody's in here. That's good.
Yeah,
everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I appreciate it. If you guys want to see my channel, hopefully, I think Wanda, if you can try to put the link in, because I don't think it'll show up if I do it. But
let me see if I can do that without closing everything out.
Okay. Well,
hey, Glamis, will you go on his channel and tell her the name of it again?
It's From Inside Out Network LLC.
And copy his link and post it in the chat for me, please.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, guys. Washington State, Rocky Strong. I was locked up in Washington State. I currently now live in Florida.
How long did you do?
I'm sorry, say that again.
How long was you in for?
Believe it or not, I did most of my time in county, which is considered hard time.
Oh, Lord, that's the worst place you can do time.
No, correct. Well, I was trying to clear my name, obviously. And if you guys don't know how the system is and how corrupt it is, they basically force you, in a sense, to take plea deals. So I ended up taking a plea deal in my case, if that makes any sense. Yeah. And I did 18 months in county, and then I had to finish off the rest of my time that my sentence was. So I did another about 4 months tops in an actual prison setting, and then I went home. So I was a short timer nonetheless, but still.
Yeah, but still, the county time was the worst.
Yeah. Well, if you don't know this, and some educational points for everybody in here, in my county alone, where I'm originally from, has the highest overturn rate. If you guys don't know what that is, that's just basically get them out, get them in, get them out, get them in. And the percentage rate at that county was, at that time, I'm sure it's way higher now, since 2009. It is, thank you for putting that out there, Claims 04. Appreciate that. Thank you for the link. But anyways, it's 35% at that time in 2009. 35% of all individuals are actually innocent of their crime. And my county jail held 2,000 souls. So if you think about it, that's that's a bad number.
Yeah, that's
35%. So
yeah, that blows my mind. Well, that's like here, they'll force you in, like the West Virginia side, they'll force you into taking a plea deal or do their best to talk you into it. Whether you've done it or not. And
well, they use my
boyfriend was just in. He was in Virginia though. They don't even supply their people that's incarcerated with underwear or socks. They have to purchase them if they want.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
I
want
might speak
underwear
on that
socks,
too.
you know.
I might speak on that too, because technically the jail is supposed to, well, I don't know. Well, both jail and prisons are supposed to provide that stuff for you. You're not supposed to buy it. That's interesting, because keep in mind the prisons clear across this country are all funded by our taxpayers. So the prisons are ran by taxes. Everything that's inside those prisons, including the staff, is funded by us, the taxpayers. So yeah, so it's amazing. But I totally has a brain fart. What was your question now? You were talking about something. I was going to make a point about something, and I lost it. Dang it.
It'll be all right. We'll think of it in a minute, maybe.
All right, that happens to me sometimes when I'm, trying to think of stuff. But if anybody in the chat, you, Wanda, or anybody else has any questions, fire away.
Well, if you have any questions for me, or if Tammy does, about my son or his case or whatever, if I can answer it, I will. Hey, Actions, if I can talk about it, I will, and if it's something that I can't until after, I go to court or whatever, I'll let you know.
Yeah. Well, and again, I don't know what it was. It was about the plea deal. The deal that they came at me when I was in county, they used my kids as a crutch to get me to take that plea deal. So that just goes to show you right there that they were trying to, use my kids as a crutch to get me to plead out.
You into taking the plea deal.
Yeah, take this deal and you can get to home to your family right now. Mm-hmm. Where do I sign? See where it's so corrupt.
Yeah, I can't stand the correctional facilities. Like, I have a friend, her husband's been in jail for 29 years, and it's for a crime that he didn't commit. He's doing time for somebody else. Mm-hmm. And they know this, and he's went up for parole. They won't even parole him.
Good Lord.
And the reason why they're giving him that they won't parole him is because they move him about every 3 months. Well, once you start a program in the prisons in Virginia, if you get moved, you have to start that program all over again. You don't pick up where you left off at the facility that you left from. You start it over.
That doesn't sound right.
So he's had to start every one of his programs over every time he moves. You see what I'm saying? So they're saying that the reason why they won't parole him is because he's not completing the programs.
That doesn't sound right. Something's fishy about that.
Yeah. Well, the reason why they're doing that is because they know that he didn't commit this crime, but he took the rap for it.
Sounds familiar.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they're holding it against him and just using everything they can to keep him in there.
Wow. My friend Tammy, that's on my team, asked you a question. Can you see it in the chat? She said this. Yeah. Can you give a small synopsis of what happened with your son? And it looks like I lost her. Wanda, are you still here? If the people in the chat can you guys still see Wanda or hear her, or can you guys see me and hear me okay? Can you guys give me a thumbs up in the chat? I don't know what happened to Wanda. She just totally left out of here. Interesting. Okay. Thank you, guys. I don't know what happened to Wanda. This is her live, and she disappeared. Hold on a second, guys. I got a message from her. She's reading me right now, guys. Just stand by. Don't go anywhere. Hold on a second, guys. Oh, she said her phone that she's using to do this live on closed everything and shut it down. So she has no thing. So it looks like we're gonna have to go back up into this again and meet her up on StreamYard. It looks like it shut her down. So I'm gonna have to shut this down and go to the next link that she sent me. So guys, what I need you guys to do is stand by. Don't go anywhere. Come back up on the new live, and we'll go from there. Sorry about all this. Claims 04. Yeah, I will do that. Just let me get this fixed on Wanda's end, and we'll come back up and try this again. So stand by, guys. Okay, I'm going to try to get out of this and go up on the new live. Don't go anywhere. Come back up, guys, and we'll start this whole thing over again. I do apologize what happened. It's on her end nonetheless. Let's get this fixed. Okay, so stand by, guys.
Are we working now? Sorry, guys. My phone just closed everything out for some reason. I don't know what happened. Good deal. I don't know what caused that. That was crazy. I don't know how to stream it, Tammy, honey. I am new to all this. I haven't been doing this for maybe a month and a half, 2 months. Why of all nights does this stuff have to happen to me? Oh, Lord.
All right.
All right, let's try this again. Here we are.
Good. You're good. All right. Can you guys hear us and see us okay?
Hey, Mark, Bubba, good to see you. She said, Glemma said that she sees and hears me, but she don't see the guest. Okay, let's see. Glemma, do you see him and hear him now?
Can you guys see me and hear me?
Yay, nay.
Trying to figure out what's going on here. Yeah, they said
Okay.
now. It's all slow on who's ever in. Okay, cool. Everybody can see me now.
All right, good deal. All right, but anyways, she asked if I could give her a brief rundown about my son. Okay, well, my son was incarcerated on December the 19th of 2019 for it was for half a gram of marijuana, the ticket that he had forgot to pay.
Mhm.
So they had issued a warrant for him because he had went out of state to find work. Well, he forgot to pay the ticket. When he came back in, you know, he was at my house, and he had a drug problem, but he was doing good. He was staying at the house. He was, he wasn't using or nothing. And one morning, on the 19th, my boyfriend had went to work, and then he decided he was going to walk the dog. Me not thinking nothing of it, he's just go outside and walk the dog. And I said, okay, while you're outside, I'll make coffee and get dressed. And he came back in, and I was finished up making the coffee or whatever. And I told him, I said, well, let me go get dressed, and we'll sit down and have coffee. And he said, okay. And he says, well, I'm going to use the bathroom. I said, all right, that's fine. Well, the dog started yelping or whatever, and I said, Charles, will you give him a treat? He didn't answer me. Well, first thing you think, your gut's hitting, your heart's hitting your stomach, and you're like, oh no. So I holler again. No reply. So I had to go knock the bathroom door in. Well, he's not all the way out of it, but pretty much. You know what I'm saying? He was overdosing. So here I go. I grab the shower hose off the shower, turn cold water on, and I'm spraying him in the face. Well, by then he's out. He's gone, you know.
I'm still here. I'm just got to take the camera off a second.
And I had to, so I ended up carrying him out of my bathroom at the time and putting him in the living room floor and started CPR on him. Well, of course, you know, when 911 calls or is called for that kind of situation, police come, the ambulance comes, all that good jazz. Well, they ran his name. He ended up having that warrant or whatever. They took him to the hospital, and he ended up leaving. And actions, I will take care of that, I promise. And so they went ahead and transported him to the local jail here in Bluefield. Well, from there, they have to take you to Beckley, the Southern Regional. Well, he was there from the evening of the 19th until the 6th when I got the phone call saying that they had to rush him out to the hospital. But supposedly he was taken out to the hospital for detox.
Wow.
Okay, but when I called the lieutenant back to speak with him, he's like, yeah, we took him out for detox. You know, the doctor we just spoke with the doctor, and they said that you need to come up there because it can go either way. The fuck? You know, pardon my language. That's exactly what I said. What do you mean it can go either way? It's for detox. What the heck's wrong? You know what I'm saying? So, of course, we load up, and my son, and my youngest son and my daughter, and his kids' mom load up, and we go up there to the hospital. Well, you know, the hospital can't tell you that he's there because he's incarcerated. So, me already knowing that he's there, I ain't going to take that for an answer.
Right. So
I start hitting the elevator. I'm getting off on every floor, going in patients' rooms, you know, looking for my baby. Well, I finally find the ICU unit, and my son was like, Mom, are you going to use the phone to call back? I said, no, I'm not using the phone to call back because they're going to tell me that he's not there. I'm waiting for somebody to open this door, and I'm going back. I'm finding him, you know. Well, when I went back, and as soon as you go in, you take a little right, and then you take an immediate left. Well, when I took the immediate left, there was my baby. Mm-hmm. And he was, he was there, you know, they had a BiPAP machine on him, helping him breathe. And you could tell that he was not there for detox. You know, I mean, you could just tell. He was struggling to breathe. I went in and asked him, you know, what was going on. And he said that he had broken ribs and punctured lungs. I was like, no, hold on. You're supposed to be here for detox. Why do you have broken ribs and a punctured lung? And he said, I don't know, Mom, but I need you to go out and talk to the doctors and see what the doctors tell you. Well, I go out and get the charge nurse, which is the nurse that was treating him, and she told me that he was sepsis. So they let him lay there from the 19th, because they said that he came in complaining with trouble breathing and pain.
That's inhumane.
You know, so they let him lay there from the 30th of December to January the 6th before they even took him to a hospital.
Oh, no, hell no.
Well, and she told me, you know, that they might have to fly him out. And I said, well, whatever you got to do. They said, well, you need to take power of attorney. And I said, okay, you know, I can do that. And we went in, and I told him, you know, they're wanting me to. That just flew by my face. I can't stand it. And I said, they want me to take power of attorney, you know, in case they have to, you know, put you under or whatever, that I can make decisions for you. So, of course, you know, he does that because he's a mommy's boy anyway. Always had been. And so I told him, I said, well, while she's drawing up the papers, I'm going to go ahead and walk out and let your brother and sister come back to see you know, for a minute, and then I'll come back. Well, right before I went to go out, he went to give me a hug, and when he raised up, you could see boot prints on his back, or shoe prints.
Yeah, he got stomped.
Well, I went to take pictures, and the CEO that was there told me that if I pulled my phone out and turned the camera on to take pictures,
No.
that I would be removed from the hospital and would not be able to have no more contact
No.
with him.
No.
And I was like, well, see, I didn't know that at the time.
No, I mean,
You know,
go ahead. I'll let you finish.
and my
But
baby being, you know, as sick as he was, and I could tell as sick as he was, you know, I wasn't going to fight it.
oh, hell no.
You know, so I go out and I tell myself, I'll be right back. I kiss his forehead and I go out and I tell them, you know, go back, spend about 5 minutes with him because they weren't giving us 15 minutes, you know, to see him or whatever. And I said, I'm going to run my phone to the car because I can't have it and I'll be back. And when I came back in, I went back there and was talking to him and I was signing the papers and he signed them or whatever.
Mhm.
And see, by law, he shouldn't have been able to sign those papers because he was still in state custody.
Interesting.
The state was supposed, the correctional facility was supposed to sign those papers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well.
Ooh, it sounds like a lot of things.
Oh, you just don't know. Not only did he end up having every rib on the left side of his body broke,
So
and
you
the punctured lung.
listen, not to interrupt you real quick. Sorry to break in real quick. You can't just break ribs. Just, you know, there's some force behind that. In order for something like that to take place, somebody had to have done something to him. What you're telling me, it sounds very highly suspicious to me. But Garrett, carry on, Wanda. Sorry.
Okay, so you know, I talked to him for a few minutes or whatever. I forgot where I was at. Oh, well, not only did he have the broken ribs and the punctured lung, come to find out, they had found 3 lacerations to his spleen. Do you know how hard it is to rupture a spleen? Much less to cause 3 lacerations to it. Well, what they thought was 3 lacerations at the time.
You gotta have some pretty dang major hardcore force right there.
Yeah, that's like, you know, trauma from, you know, head-on collisions or rolling your, you know, car over a mountain.
On footprints and that's feet and hands.
Yeah. Well, so, you know, they told me, you know, that my time was up or whatever, so I kissed him and tell him I love him, and he says, Mommy, he said, I love you. He said, hold on.
Go ahead, take your time. I understand, Wanda. I'm sorry. Wanda. Bastards.
Mom, they said that I might not make it.
So he even knew. Why couldn't he not tell you?
No, because he wasn't talking from the CO. You know? And I said, no, you know, they don't know. You know, I said, you can't listen to them. I said, don't you dare give up on me. And I said, you know, you got to fight.
I'm sorry, Wanda. I really am. My thoughts and prayers are going out to you. Just know that you're not alone in this mess. We're gonna help. We're gonna help you.
And, so, you know, I told him, you know, you just continue fighting. I'm gonna go home and pack a bag, and I'm coming back. I said, I'm gonna sleep out in the waiting room. And he said, okay, Mommy. Well, I got home, and I was packing a bag and everything, and the nurse called, and she says, well, don't come back right now. She says, because I think that we're going to have to send him out.
For what?
So finally, about midnight, they called and said that they had to sedate him, and asked me if it was okay if they intubated him, because he was going to have to be flown out because he was struggling to breathe and that they couldn't treat him there.
What the?
Yeah. So.
I'm sorry, I'm pissed.
We get to Morgantown at Ruby Memorial. He gets there, and then I go down that morning. And I find out he had 6 lacerations to his spleen.
6?
Yeah.
So you can't do that just by,
No. But, you know.
Holy shit.
And he thought from the 6th, well, really, from the 30th of December till January the 25th when he finally passed.
Now, he passed because of the issues with his body, correct?
But yeah, but what they put on his death certificate was he died because of chronic IV drug use.
No.
That led to him getting endocarditis.
No, I'm no doctor or rocket scientist, but that doesn't add up.
Mm. No, I mean, I'm not stupid. He's got over 5,000 pages of medical records. I've read page for page. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I've read every page of the dispositions from the nurses that work at the correctional facility over and over again. You know, just to see if I can find, just to get.
If I may, I don't know how long your live is for tonight, but we should.
I go as long as whatever.
I'm just saying, because usually I do my lives for an hour or so, but this is yours, so you can go as long as you want. But I'm just letting you know that we need to get this out. I'm sure the story's been out. I've seen the news articles that you sent me and all that. But what we would.
So that's the only publicity that my son's case got, was that little bitty write-up right there, and it was done by his attorney, or by my attorney.
Okay, well, that was my next initial question, with all due respect. If you don't mind me asking, what is your attorney that you have on this case saying and doing currently right now to help you in this situation?
Well, really, they've done, I mean, like I said, they got the prime care part situated, to where it's settled out or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But they're acting like they don't even want to pursue anything against the jail.
Who, the attorney?
Yeah. It's just like it's no big deal because they don't know, they're probably not going to get nothing from that facility. You know what I'm saying? Because they done got
right. Let me
the class action against them.
Yeah, let me ask you this. If your attorney does not work for you for this case, you have every right, God-given right, to drop him and find someone else that will. They're hard to find. Don't get me wrong. They're hard to find.
Oh, I know. Believe me, it took me a year to find him.
And yeah, I know. But listen, I know you've been through the trial and tribulations. But this is just an educational thing for you. So this is not being smartassy or criticism.
No, I take all the advice that I can get and information.
Fair enough. And I'm just letting you know what your rights are here. So
yeah.
To let you know that if your attorney that you currently have right now on this case does not do anything that is necessary for this case to get this resolved and solved, then you have every right under the law to cancel him and find somebody else, and keep doing that until you find one that does work for you. I know it's frustrating and it's very, very heartbreaking to have to go through it again and start over and go through it again. It's a knockout, drag out scenario, but these attorneys. These
have to relive that all over again.
I know, but again, from a educational standpoint, I want you to know that even though it's a pain in the ass, excuse my French, people, to do that, you have to understand that that's the only other way around. That's the only way around this mess. Is you got to find somebody else. There are good attorneys out there. They're hard to find. They're rare, and there are attorneys out there that will do what you can to get this case resolved. So please, I'm asking you from all of us here from Inside.
Oh yeah.
Don't give up.
As soon as I get this part taken care of and out of the way, so I don't have to go back through all that mess again. Mm-hmm. I'm going to find another attorney, to do the correctional, because they haven't even got me no documents from the jail other than the prime care stuff.
Correct.
I wanted all of the reports from the jail part of it, and
you need to collect every piece of evidence that you can obtain on this case that will make it strong for you to win. So I would really make sure you have and collect all your evidence that you need on this, because your son, even though he's gone, he can still, believe it or not, and I believe in this, and you might call me kooky or weird, but he can talk to you beyond the grave, and he can help you. He's here with you right now. So don't give up, Wanda. I'm going to read some people's chat real quick. What's her name? Tashika Whitco?
Tashika, that's Mark.
Okay. So I apologize for beating up people's names. Anyways, he says, I went through withdrawals from chronic drug abuse and my, what does it say? Explained in, I think he meant spleen rupture. I didn't have broken bones. I was sick, but these are blunt force trauma injuries. Is the attorney located in the same country?
No, he's 3 counties up. He's at the head of West Virginia.
If I may, you might need to find one in your county. You might need to drop this guy.
I'm gonna tell you, the attorneys here in my little county, in Mercer County,
mm-hmm.
there's none.
Tammy is saying, how long has this been? Tammy asked, and then also Tammy said this
since
is
2020.
Since 2020, Tammy. Again, she's a good advocate. She's on my team. If you guys, Yeah, she's a wonderful lady. Anyways, claims 04 said, how much time has passed at Wanda? That question was for you.
4 years. January will make 5 years.
Wow. Okay, let me ask you this. Now, most cases, again, I already know the answer to this, but I want to ask you anyways. With your case, with your son's case, is there a timeline on this?
Nobody's ever told me.
I'm just asking because some people
It's usually 2 years. In most cases, it's 2 years. I do know, but I don't know about this kind of situation. You know what I'm saying? Diablo, hold on, honey. Give me just a second.
Okay. The reason, again, for everybody in the chat, the reason why I asked that question for Wanda and everybody else is because certain cases you lose time and you can't fight it.
Yeah, see, that's why I've debated about getting another attorney because I already have them. The 2 years wasn't up when I hired them, and there's 5 of them working this case that I'm having to pay.
You shouldn't have. Whoa! You're paying for these attorneys? These are civil rights attorneys, correct? Or is these criminal attorneys?
Yep.
Are they? So they're criminal?
Yep. They handle. Oh God, they handle everything from medical malpractice to criminal to.
They shouldn't be charging you until your case is over.
Yeah. Oh, they're not going to charge me until. I mean, I had to pay them for the prime care part. You know what I'm saying? Whenever it comes through or whatever.
Oh, I was because attorney is if the attorney is asking
a whole lot because the medical records that they have, I got them before I even hired them.
Wow. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And I had a shirt that I wanted to be sent off, and they never done it.
Right. Yeah, you shouldn't have to be paying out of pocket for anything if your attorneys are doing the work. Telling you the truth.
See, he left 2 little babies behind. You know what I'm saying? Like they was babies then, little bitty, then. So I mean, they're growing up without a daddy. He didn't get to watch his babies grow up. He don't get to, watch them graduate or get married or none of that.
I know, Wanda. And look, I've been there, so I can somewhat relate. I haven't lost somebody. I can't imagine what that's like. But I want you to know, with all due respect, I know what it's like to be away from your kids when you're locked up. So that's the same kind of feeling.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know I know. So you're not alone in that situation nonetheless. Let's see. Tammy said, have you contacted any ACLU office?
I sent them an email, but I haven't heard nothing back. Same thing for the Freedom of Information Act. I emailed them, didn't get anything back.
Wanda, if I may, real quick, before we continue any further with this live with you, my good friend John Doe, and in the chat, he is one hell of a very knowledgeable law individual. So I highly suggest you get hooked up with John Doe here.
What is that coming up?
I think he has issues where he can't.
Okay.
It's technical, nonetheless. Okay. So.
Will you give me my information?
Yeah, what I can try to do. I don't know if Tammy, if you're in here still, can you put your email in the chat? Because I tried and it didn't pop up because I don't have a wrench next to my name, and I don't know if any of you got. So the ones that have wrenches against your name, I'm going to send my email out verbally. If you guys can put my email up so people can get a hold of everybody, so we can collab. That would be great. Claim 04 said at JN Tom, or is it Tam? Thank you for your input here. Sorry, I can tell you are going to bring much needed light to Wanda's tragedy. Absolutely. I'm not going to let this stand. Absolutely. That's my goal here. Thank you, Claim 04, for that comment. All right. So everybody pay attention to my email so you guys can get a hold of me and we'll collab and hook up through everybody. Tammy, John, I have a pretty good respectful team here. So if you guys want to get involved, let's do this. Let's collab and work together and help Wanda here. Cause I don't want her to.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. And look, people do it for money. I'm not doing it for money. I will do this until I can't do it no more. So anyways, my email, guys, ladies and gentlemen, pay attention to my voice real quick. My email is voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. All one word, by the way. So again, voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. Take notes of that and get a hold of me, and let's all collab and work together, and let's help our friend Wanda right here. Tammy, and I'm not sure
I'll
if I
put
have.
my email in the comments in case John or Tammy want it.
If you can make Tammy and John and me moderators, that will cause you to have us have wrenches against our name.
Can I do that from StreamYard?
I think you can click on in the chat the images, their faces, and it will. Well, yeah, you can do that too. It should take you to their channel.
Comment, ban user, put user in timeout, and delete. But I think it's before we're on StreamYard.
Okay, so
I will start live as soon as this one ends. I will start a quick live on YouTube. If they'll come in, I'll mod them up.
Okay, well, whatever works. My email's up thanks to Claim04 because he has a ranch. And then searching for answers, put your email up in there. Wanda Purdue@gmail.com. Okay, guys, so we have emails. At least some of them are up. We'll collab. We'll get connected one way or another. So, yeah. But anyways, thank you guys so much for your guys' support here, nonetheless. So if anybody else has any questions or if you want to carry on with your story, go ahead, Wanda.
Let's see where I'll leave off at. I don't even remember where I left off at.
I'm still here. I just got to take myself off camera real quick. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm trying to remember where I left off at. If anybody can remember in the chat, please let me know.
You were talking about the medical situation, I believe, with your son and what happened. I think that's where you left off.
Okay.
The lawyers and attorneys not doing their job, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been like a fight. Like, the 2 days before I was supposed to win and finalize the part for Prime Care files bankruptcy. Well, they automatically throw my name on there.
Isn't that what can you explain what that is real quick?
Prime Care is the medical facility or company that is contracted through Southern Regional Jail.
Oh, interesting. Imagine that.
Yeah.
And they shut down and went bankrupt?
Yeah.
If it's tax funded, how is that possible?
You tell me. But they did. But anyway, so I've had to fight that. I was supposed to go to court January the 6th. I think it was January 6th or 7th, something. It was the beginning of January of this year to finalize this. 2 days before I was supposed to win, they called it and told me that it had to be postponed because I was added to the bankruptcy. And that I wasn't supposed to be added to the bankruptcy. But the first thing I said was, well, you knew they was going to file bankruptcy?
Why were you added
and you still, told me that, I should do this? You being my attorney screwed me. So I've had to fight with them since January to get my name lifted from the bankruptcy. And we just done it. They just got them lifted on the 9th of this month.
Something doesn't sound right.
So
let me ask you a quick question real quick. Right now, as we're talking, what is your attorney doing now? Anything?
Sitting on his ass waiting, or supposedly getting my court date scheduled on the docket for Prime Care. So you tell me, that's what I say.
I have a feeling that he's not going to be doing much of anything at all for you in this case situation. And if I may make a recommendation, you might have to can his ass.
Oh yeah, as soon as the Prime Care stuff's done, hey, they're done. Once I get all my son's documents back, because they got his death certificate, and all that still at their office. So I have to get all that back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you were telling me in private chat yesterday that some documents you can't get. Can you explain that real quick to the?
I can't get none of the ones from the jail part. Like I've got the Prime Care.
Yeah, you can.
But every time I send an email to the Freedom of Information Act email, I've never got a reply back. I've requested it through my attorney. Supposedly they requested it. I don't have proof that they requested that.
Right.
I have called the jail personally and told them I wanted documents. And am still to see the documents.
Okay. I appreciate that. Just so you know, the Freedom of Information Act, you can get them. All right, Tammy said this sounds familiar, and attorney not being honest. Yeah, that sounds
Yes,
about.
I was his emergency contact.
Yeah, and Tammy also said, was any actions ever taken or filed against the county or I think it's county. Yeah, county. So that was questions for you, I think, and then
No,
I'm
not yet. And see, like whenever he was transported from the Bluefield jail here to the Southern Regional Jail, it don't
Mhm.
take but 45 minutes for me to drive it, much less a cop. A cop can drive it in 30 minutes.
imagine
You
that.
know, because their balls are wild gone.
Mhm.
Well, at 7, I'm gonna say about 6:30. My oldest son went to take Charles' clothes to the jail so he could change out into his clothes because his clothes was wet.
Tammy
He was
wants to come
gone.
up. Can you bring Tammy up?
Yeah. Let's see here.
John Doe says that's a court trying to play fast and loose because they're afraid to go to jury trial. You don't foil that. You use a subpoena. Okay. Well, and John, thank you so much for correcting that. Again, I'm not always right in some of my answers and whatnot, so that's why I'm glad you're here, John. Nonetheless, I know for a fact some records can be obtained through through the FOIA.
Yeah, like I told you, I'm his administrator of a state, or executive of a state, whatever.
I appreciate you, John. Much love and respect to you all for that information. So again, like I said, John's really highly knowledgeable. I suggest you get with him. We'll collab. But nonetheless, for that information, it looks like according to him, you got to get a subpoena. And your attorney should be doing all that anyways, regardless. Not you. I'm just saying.
Yeah, like, well, look, I will give you my attorney's name when we get off of here. And Google him.
All right. So, Tammy, the StreamYard link is in the chat. Tammy, if you can hear us, hit that and come on up.
Yeah, I'm waiting. That's what I was doing, was looking to see if it showed I had a guest yet. But
yeah, Tammy's a really good person. A lot of love and respect for Tammy.
Even the jail, when I called and told him I wanted to see video.
So there's video?
Well, there's videos in the jail.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's what I mean. I mean,
no, there's not, because supposedly that the cameras are time stamped or date stamped, so they wouldn't know where to go back and start to check to see.
Right. Hi, Tammy.
If anything happened. Hi, Tammy. Very nice to meet you. Well, when I told him, I said, well, then you go back from the minute he walked in your building, from the moment that you took custody of him, and you watch it. That way you find out something that happened at your facility.
Your attorney should be watching that. And I think you can watch it too, believe it or not.
So, like I said,
did they tell you couldn't get any of his medical? Were you his?
I have all his medical stuff.
Okay, so did you get the stuff from the jail medical?
Yeah, I have the prime care stuff. Yeah, I still have that. I have that.
Like, so the infirmary and the jail in the county, both facilities that he was in before he was taken to the hospital, you have all the records from any kind of medication or any injuries, all his broken bones.
Well, see, they didn't even do his blood pressure but twice from the time that he entered the facility. So for 6 days, he had his blood pressure taken twice, and he was supposedly on the detox side of everything. So they should have been doing that every 30 minutes.
And when they're in detox, they're in usually medical segregation. So that means he would have been in an area that was just confined to just him in that area. So
nope.
This is
he was in a pod.
It was in a pod?
Yeah, that's a big no-no.
Yeah, they put all of detox, they put in a pod. There's a detox pod.
So they're not separated from each other, so he could have been attacked by other inmates, guards, anybody, and nobody can find camera footage either.
Well, time stamped or date stamped, supposedly.
Well, remember this. So
go ahead.
When you're attacked,
stand by, John,
or somebody else attacks you, or you attack somebody else, it is the burden of proof for them to prove that they weren't responsible, because they have cameras, they have guards, they have a warden, they have a sheriff, whatever the hell they are, whatever their hierarchy is, does not matter. That is on them, that they can't find the footage. Let me tell you a case that happened in Texas at the county jail where my husband spent time. So on the female side of the county, there was an inmate there, and a guard came and woke her up, had another female guard wake her up to have her sew his uniform. So they have trustees do that normally. And the female guard said to him, "Why are you waking her up? She's not a trustee." He said, "Well, the trustees have worked all day. She hasn't, and she can sew, so she can sew my pants." So they take the female officer and the male officer take this female inmate to this multi-purpose room where the sewing machine is. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And the female guard is there for a little bit, and then she leaves because she has to go do something. She comes back in 15 minutes. She peeps in the door, sees that the guard is sitting across from the inmate. No big deal. Nothing looks fishy. The inmate sewing the pants. So she leaves again, but doesn't come back for an hour and a half. During that time, he rapes this inmate. This deputy raped this inmate. Okay. And then so they had cameras in that room, but supposedly the cameras weren't working. There was no.
Imagine that.
They're never working.
But let me tell you who won that case. She did. The thing is, like I said, it's their job to have to prove that you're not right.
Yeah.
And it has to be proven like ASAP, like Johnny on the spot. The whole thing is, what you need is somebody to go back and look at all the medical, like another, not necessarily a state official, but somebody in a capacity of, I forget what they're called, not a mortician, but, basically a doctor that does autopsies. You need to have an independent investigation. Look at the autopsy report, because they are a medical doctor that can say, okay, his drug use did not cause all these broken ribs, these footprints on his back.
Hell no.
And they'll tear that report apart. And the county needs to answer for that.
Absolutely, John.
Because those are civil rights violations.
Absolutely,
now you're
Tammy.
talking federal law. That supersedes state, county. Okay?
Well, see, they didn't even want to give him an autopsy.
Uh-huh.
They tried to talk me out of it, letting him have an autopsy. And then when they did do the autopsy, they didn't do an internal.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah, they didn't do an internal. They just done an exterior.
Well, guess what? It looks like you're going to have to get one done.
So
they may have to. I don't know. Was he cremated or
no?
Okay, well that's kind of a good thing, because they can go in and do all kinds of stuff now. And if he was on pain medication, which I imagine he was, anything that he signed was null and void. It was not a legal binding contract, because you cannot sign something when you are on pain medication and it be legal.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
It's not.
And
I mean, all of that is
so
wrong.
they had him on
is wrong.
at Morgantown. Now, I don't know about what they was giving him at. I mean, I do, but I can't remember right off. I'd have to pull his file. But in Morgantown, they had him maxed out on the largest amount of fentanyl that they could give him. Now, mind you, this kid, whenever he went into the jail, he was 5'11", and maybe 140, 150 pounds, right? So he's a skinny fella. He weighed he wore 32 jeans, and whenever I buried him, I had to give him 38s.
It don't take a lot of fentanyl to kill somebody, just so you know.
No, and see, whenever I found out that they was giving him fentanyl at the hospital because they spoke up and said it in front of me, that he was maxed out, I said, oh no, take that off of him. That's why he's here now, because he wouldn't even went to jail had he not got a hold of something from one of his friends,
I love you, John. Thank you.
And I said, I don't want him having fentanyl. And they was like, well, that's, about all that we can give him. I said, oh, no, there's more that you can give him besides that. I said, so if you had to give him breakthrough or whatever, then that's what you want to do.
My
John
mind,
said-
this hurts my head. I'm
Yeah.
so angry
John-
right now.
my-
My blood vessels.
My good friend John said, how are they organized? LLC, corporation, what?
I don't know. I'd have to look, and I'm on my only device right now.
Prime.
It's-
What is it
It's
called?
Southern
Prime
Regional Jail,
America?
Beckley, West Virginia.
Man, a lot of bull crap going on here.
Oh, they had 15 deaths the same year that my son passed away. There's
Do you
over
know any other
145
families?
people involved in a class action lawsuit against that jail. Mine's not in with the class action. Mine was the very first one that was filed before the class action.
Can you see John's comment there,
Which one? Me? Let me see.
everybody? John's on fire right now.
Oh, he's mad. He's like me, probably.
I love you, John, man. Thank you.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. And like there was a doctor that was not just so happened his name was Charles too, but it was at Morgantown. Every time that if I came home to get clothes or do laundry, and check on my dogs, whatever, he would call me with an update, but he wouldn't give me an update. The only thing he wanted to talk about was taking Charles off of life support. 90% of the conversation of every phone call when he called me was trying to talk me into taking my son off of life support.
No, that's your choice, not theirs.
Yeah. And I said, how many times do I have to tell you, no, I'm not taking him off of life support. He still moves. When I go in there and speak, he'll move his head, so he knows who I am. That means he's still got brain activity. And I'm not going to sign for you to legally kill my son.
So they took him off, or did?
No, I had to take him off the last day because he was just shutting down. Everything was shut down. You know what I'm saying? Like at his last day, his heart rate was like in the 300s. And I mean, it was bad. And that was not the hardest decision I ever had to make.
I know.
And it was so bad that the doctor that was seeing one of the doctors stood over Charles and was crying.
God damn.
I mean,
Tammy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm doing everything I can over here to hold my composure. Oh, where'd you go?
hold on, I'll drop the link for her again.
I was gonna say, I think Tammy and all of us need to. I think Tammy and all of us need to stand by Wanda, and we need to do our own, what we call internal investigation on this.
Well, they done an internal into the prisons, like the governor ordered for them to do one. Now, it takes a while for the report to come back when they do an internal investigation. It was back within 24 hours, the first one that they done. And it said that there was nothing, going on or anything like that at the jail. But there's black mold, there's, rotten food.
That's an 18-minute.
No water in 15 of the cells at the time. There was no water.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
let me say this real quick. If we do any type of action on this for you, Wanda, as a whole, just for friendship purposes, not anything else, is that going to affect your attorney's situation if I get involved or we get involved?
No, because I mean, their dealings will be done here, within 30 days, I would say. Hopefully before then.
Tammy, can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Yeah. So here's the thing, Jay. What she's doing right now has to do with the medical part of things.
Yeah.
There's still the responsibility of
the jail,
the guards, the sheriff, the county.
Correct.
The system as a whole, from one county to the other, both counties are responsible. They're both going to point the fingers at each other. No,
I know.
As a mother, or as a wife of someone currently incarcerated, I'm going to tell you this. There is no amount of money on God's green earth.
Nope.
I would want heads to friggin' roll.
Honey, you don't know how
And
many
I
times I've just
believe
sat here and thought about
you.
the shit that I wanted to go up there and just post up in the woods and just pop each one of them when they came out.
Yeah, but
I
here's the
mean,
thing. The way to help people not have the same thing go on is to bring awareness to the issue. And
yeah,
sometimes you have to fight that battle. I would take every bit of paperwork that I had, and this is your God-given right and your right as a citizen in the United States. You march yourself down to your nearest senator or representative in Congress. You put that paperwork on their desk. They'll have a secretary, they'll have somebody. You go in that office. Do not call them, do not get on the phone with them, don't email them. You go down to their office and you
Correct.
say, I want an inquiry into this. I want a congressional inquiry as a registered voter. I want this looked at.
yeah,
And then they'll give you a sheet of paper and you put your little whatever you want to put on there.
Yeah,
And I
correct.
promise you, it's going to bring some kind of awareness somewhere. Because this
yeah.
is absolutely horrific. And I am so sorry. What I really wanted to come up here and say is when things happen to a loved one, and I keep trying to tell people, and this is what we do in Texas, or we're starting to really band together and do, is more like a village concept. And this is something Jay and I are trying to do in our group and our village, our
We'll be
tribe.
discussing it. We'll be discussing it in more detail on Friday's night Man's Night show tomorrow. So
Yeah. So the thing is, when somebody's getting injured or somebody's getting, we had a member of a lovely, lovely lady, Cynthia. Her son was going through some stuff, and the guys in his wing that it was freezing, and the beds are metal.
thank you, Claim
It was
04.
below freezing temps, and because the warden got pissed at them for something, and the guards, the captain, they took all their mattress pads away. They were sleeping on freezing metal in below freezing temps, like negative
Hell no, not on my
3 or
dime.
4, and they were sleeping on metal.
Oh, here they've had
These
them sleeping
inmates.
in the floor where the toilets was leaking out into the floor, and they didn't have a mat or nothing. They was laying there.
Yep, I've seen it. I know. I've seen it. People do that.
What we do, how we do it in Texas, say it's Jay's son, and Jay says, hey, I got this going on. Then the rest of us in Texas, out of all these other different groups, even if our loved ones are not in that unit, we all start blowing up that warden. And then we blow up headquarters, which is Huntsville for Texas. Admin is in Huntsville, Texas.
Yeah.
And so we all as a group, so now you've got thousands of people blowing up your email, your phone. We're calling the prison. We're calling on behalf of these inmates that are being, well, who are you? You don't need to know that. We're just letting you know that we're aware that this is going on. And we're going to hold you responsible by the length of the law.
Absolutely.
So when you band together, and this is something I did with my husband was when he was in county, because they injured him on purpose. They broke his hand. So
it don't surprise me.
What we did is my sister was calling up there. My stepsister was calling up there. My brother, my niece, his sister. We were all calling up there 5 and 6 times a day. Hey, how's he doing? Can we speak to medical? We want to know what's going on. Because if you're watching, it's kind of like the nursing home. If you have a loved one in the nursing home and you never go visit them, they're going to abuse, rob, steal, and do things to them. So the jail is the same way, and prison is the same way. Yeah, you don't want them to get backlash, but at the point that you've got 1,000 people looking on one inmate or one wing, they know that you're watching them now. And they have to be very, very careful, because if they fuck up, then they got these thousands of people to deal with, not just a family that they think
Correct.
they can pay off and make go away.
Yeah.
So that's a concept we need to start teaching people, because more people are incarcerated than are not.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're aware of that, but it's really that bad. I'm so sorry for your loss.
It's terrible, you know, the things that they get by with. I mean, like I said, they had 15 deaths here after my son, and those are the ones that was documented. My son wasn't counted in that because he passed away in a hospital. If you pass away outside that facility, they don't have to add you to that list. You see what I'm saying?
If those injuries and those boot prints came back from their facility, somebody ought to be held responsible. That is just absolutely atrocious.
Just because he's in a public hospital doesn't mean DLC is not still responsible.
No, because they're holding me responsible
for his medical bills.
Say that again?
They're holding me responsible for his medical bills because they released him from custody on the 23rd, which I wasn't aware of until after the fact, and he passed on the 25th.
No. How are you responsible for the bills?
And his helicopter ride alone was over $90,000.
They released him so that they could make
he could pass away and they wouldn't be held responsible.
Good Lord. What a mess.
Yep.
Oh wow. Yeah, that would be your first
His
job,
medical bills were over $1 million.
Because it's my personal email, I don't really want to post it in the chat. So if you'll get a hold of Jay, Wanda, I mean, seriously, get a hold of me. And I'm sure that between myself and John Doe, we can get you some things. But I have a lot of, I'm not a lawyer, not a paralegal.
I'm not either, but I have a lot of help I can give.
but we have templates and all kinds of things that you can use at your disposal. Be happy to send you everything that I've got to help you, and we can get with you on the side.
John Doe got in here a little bit earlier and said, I believe this was for you, Wanda, where there is a threat of immediate injury, it becomes an ex parte, young, and the universal injunction. I don't know if you understand any of that.
It's case law that he's referring to, so you can type in ex parte young injunction and it'll pop up and it'll explain it to you. Now that Google has AI, it helps.
John said this: an in custody death is an in custody death.
Yeah.
So even though he was outside of the prison and into an actual hospital, DLC is still responsible.
Mm-hmm. And even if they released him on the 23rd, they was responsible for those medical bills up till the 23rd because he was still in their custody.
Yeah, the state.
From everything that I researched, anyway, you know what I'm saying?
The state and the taxpayers.
And then I would have been responsible for 2 days.
Correct. Go ahead, Tammy.
What I was going to say is he went in with those injuries. He went into the hospital with the injuries from that in their custody, so they are really actually liable still. I don't know what the attorney is or isn't doing. My advice is start looking up civil rights attorneys. If you do have an ACLU office that you can actually walk into, I tell people this all the time. It's better to go talk to somebody face to face and put the human side to it. Mm-hmm. When we email and when we call people, it's so easy for them to be dismissive. Yeah. It's very hard to look at a mother who lost her son to a horrific murder. I'm going to call it what it is.
That's what I call it. They kill him like a baby. And then they allowed him to lay there and suffer.
Yeah, you know? No.
And when they went in to intubate him, usually they have to vacuum your stomach to get any food that you may have in the bottom of your stomach to keep you from aspirating. He didn't even have bile in his stomach.
No bile?
He didn't eat for 6 days.
That's
what in the hell?
Because he couldn't, because of the ribs being broken and all the internal injuries to the spleen and all of that. That's what caused him not to be able to eat.
Yeah.
I can tell you this right now. This sounds like a major cover up going on here. Major cover up.
I've been saying this from
And
day one.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you. Right. I'm going to be honest with you, and it may not be the right way of saying this, but I say it with all respect. Somebody beat the crap out of him.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, my son was a scrapper. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't saying that just because he was my kid. It's just because that's what he doing. That's what he liked doing. You know? I mean, that's just the facts of it. He liked to fight. I mean, he didn't start fights, but he didn't back down from them. You know what I'm saying? So
I get it. What I'm saying is somebody, I mean, it was almost like a gang job, you know, where he was ganged up on and didn't have a chance to really have a what we call a fair fight, even though there's no such thing called a fair fight in jail. But
well, see, that's what I was getting to about the jail when they transported him from here to the other one.
It sounds like multiple
2 hours to get him there. And it don't take but 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Where was he at? He was in limbo for 2 hours. Where was he? What was they doing? You know, why did it take so long to get him?
What were they doing to him, and what was accounted for that time?
That's what makes me believe in a way the police done it.
Yeah.
There's some questions not being answered here. How did he sustain these injuries is what we want to know right now. Like, how did he get these injuries?
Your guess is as good as mine. They try to tell me that his spleen ruptured and his lung collapsed due to him getting endocarditis. Do you know what endocarditis is?
You can't get those injuries for being on drugs.
Well, exactly. But see, they tried to. I'm a recovering drug addict. I don't hide it, you know, and I used intravenously. But, and, you know, I mean, I do understand people do get endocarditis from using dirty needles and that, but it takes time, you know, for that to build up. My son got it in 6 days. And it's where endocarditis is I like to describe it as almost like COVID. You know how COVID puts the infection balls into your lungs and stuff? Well, instead of that, it's blood clots. And the blood clots have infection in it. And whenever your heart pumps, it's sending it out of your heart and into your lungs. And it's causing, you know, and if they burst, you know, of course your lungs going to collapse. But his was collapsed before he was diagnosed with endocarditis. He was just sepsis whenever his lungs was collapsed. And that was because it was punctured from the ribs.
Tammy, what's your take on this?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know me, right? So my husband happens to be a surgical tech of over 20 years. So he's been in every surgery you can name and then some. Okay. So endocarditis is an inflammation of the inner layer of the heart.
Yeah.
So, okay, heart, spleen, not the same organs. So
the spleen is behind you. The spleen's behind you, like in your back area.
Yeah, and that would have probably, I think, what happened with the spleen was the broken ribs.
Yeah.
I know.
I think they was beat with a baton by the police. Is what I'm thinking, because it took them 2 hours to get him there.
Stomped on.
Mm-hmm.
He was
issued boots that they wear.
If I can record to my printer, I will upload the dispositions from the Prime Care staff, and because I sent Jay the medical reports already.
Was there anybody that was empathetic to you at the hospital that believes that something was very wrong here? I mean, none of the nursing staff, none of the doctors, or they all kind of banding together to stay out of it.
They just, and the feeling I got is that they was working with the jail.
Or they,
you know what I'm saying?
To stand up and say anything too. I mean, crooked is as crooked does.
Yeah. Oh no, I've got a mouth on me. I mean, you know, I don't tolerate no kind of bullshit.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, that's kind of
like whenever I was down there and I was talking to the doctor, the Charles guy, they wanted me to meet him and try to get to understand. I said, if you bring him around that corner, you're going to be putting him in a red in here because I'm going to lay him the hell out.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
You know, don't sit there telling me that you want me to take my son off life support and then tell me you want me to meet the motherfucker. No. I'll meet him, but he's going to beat the floor. I mean,
Everybody's on fire tonight for the chat. I appreciate you guys being in here. The person said, "Thank you so very much for all three of you for helping Wanda. It's my pleasure. It's you don't even have to say."
Mark's been a good friend to me. I met him here on YouTube, and he's like, he's been a real good friend. He's always listened, and I appreciate him and Glamis and Actions and.
Yep.
Oh
I do
Lord,
too.
who else is in here? Let's see.
We
That I
can't
talked to
get through without our friends, our
Katie.
tribe.
I mean,
We can't get through this stuff. The stuff is
This
it happens every day. Right now, as we're all sitting up here, somebody's getting the shit beat out of them somewhere,
Yep.
or
And
dying.
well, I sent
at
him
the hands
another
of
case
corruption.
last night of a young man that was 44 years old that they said died of COPD. He didn't. He had the mortal hell beat out of him. Like, they crushed his eye socket. You could just tell. I'm going to send you the picture when we get off of here, and you tell me if he died of COPD. Because, I mean, that's what I do is I get on here, and I don't just advocate for my son or that jail. You know what I'm saying? I get on here and I talk about it, all of them, If I know somebody that's there and they're having issues or whatever, I come on here and I'll speak about it just to bring light to it, to let people know, hey, this is really what's going on inside these facilities. Because the only thing that you're seeing on the news, from the news companies is what they want you to see and what they want you to know. That's not the truth of what's really going on.
That's the problem. People cast. Listen, until you have a loved one that's been in jail. I mean, I'm talking really been in jail, not a couple nights over the weekend.
My cousin's been in there for like 42 years.
Fair but
enough.
Somebody that's in jail or prison, until you go through the horrific crap, you don't know it. It's out of sight, out of mind. And I truly believe that if we can bring awareness to people, everyday people, and say, look at what they're doing to these people. They're already punished when they get their sentence and they have to go serve time. They should not be abused. It is not okay. It is not okay to abuse people while they are in a county jail or a juvenile detention center. Children.
Correct.
There are children being abused.
Oh, absolutely.
Right now. It's terrible. It's horrific. And then people in prison. It's not okay to abuse people. That's criminal. It's criminal.
Yeah. And they're getting by with it because of that power, that little bag, or that little costume that they put on. I call it a costume. Go to their head. It's not a uniform. It's a costume. Because they're a bunch of fucking clowns.
It's an intimidation act.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
But here's what a lot of people need to understand is that by us advocating and joining, we're trying to create. We have another friend that I wish you could see this and was in here. We have an organization. It's called Carry.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have to get you Tim Mann's the website for it, but we're gonna start doing membership cards and everything with it, and we're building a non-profit based under the Carry organization where all advocates can join, and then we can start initiating legal proceedings against the government as class action suits because we've had it. We have to get somebody's attention. And if it takes all of us going to Congress and standing before them and saying, okay, we'll withdraw our suit. We want to see some major changes. And here's where we're at with it. What are you willing to give and do to make it happen? Because without us standing up together, we can't make effective change. We can talk about it all day, but we have
to. It takes a village to make change. It takes a village to make change. So,
and we're starting to get our village together, and we just have to keep pushing. But I would really, really encourage you. I don't work weekends, Wanda, so I can get with you over the weekend and help you with some paperwork. I can send it to you quick as snot, and we can get what applies to your area I'll ask John. I'll reach out and ask him if he could please, you know, be in on the conversation. And between the three of us, we can help you, because this just breaks my heart. I can't
I appreciate it.
say enough how disgusted and just absolutely, God will put his hand down. And when he does, they're not going to like it.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely not.
Terrible. It's just terrible.
You know, like I have never had so much anger and aggression build up in me in my whole life. You know,
Well, just
Well, now
know
we're
I don't
gonna
want
take
to. I
it-
don't want to
we're
make
gonna
any promise.
We can teach her to take that anger and aggression, Jay, right?
Yeah,
We know what I say about anger and aggression. It's motivation to get behind it and get those people that are responsible
yep.
correct.
and let them
Correct. No,
answer
absolutely.
to us,
Absolutely.
who
Yeah.
pay their salaries, who give them food on their table to feed their kids that are alive.
Hmm.
Exactly. I mean, how would they like
They
it if I
have to
took their kid
answer.
out here and beat the shit out of him and just tuck him up there and just set him somewhere and be like, oh, I don't know what happened to him. And then he dies 5 days later.
Yeah, no.
Not my problem. Not my child.
It's not
No,
okay.
if somebody does that to my kid, you're going to see the Papa Bear come out of me.
I mean, and you know, the jail has. I have not been able to talk to anyone at the jail since he passed away. They never called and apologized or sent condolences. You know, nothing.
Because they're guilty.
And it took me a year to get his belongings back, and they wiped one of his phones completely out, and one of them I didn't even get back.
Well, I'm going to say this for the team, everybody here, everybody in the chat. I don't want to make promises, because every time I try to think that I'm going to get close to make a promise, it ends up backfiring on me. So I will say this just is just as good as a promise. But nonetheless, I'm going to let you know that we're going to do what we can over here as this team to work for you and get justice for your son.
I appreciate it. You just don't know. Like I said, I've been doing this for 4 years pretty much by myself. I mean,
Okay.
you know, any information that usually the attorneys have gotten, I've gotten and gave it
Right.
to them. You know what I'm saying?
That's my point. We just need to keep the
you're working
communication
the
there.
case for them. I'm very familiar with that.
Yeah,
Nathan,
like
that
I've
is-
read every one of his medical records
Yeah.
over and over again, you know, and pointed out the lies in the dispositions, and you know, like why is this one saying this, but this one over here has the same date but a different answer. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Or explanation. What the hell? I mean,
Well,
it don't take a rocket scientist to see that, you know, something's not right somewhere.
me
They
and
can't
my
get the story straight.
correct, Wanda. Sorry, me and my team, we're going to do what we can. We're going to work. All of us are going to work together and do what we can for you. And keep in mind, I always say this on my podcast and in some of my videos. I always say the justice system is awesome and this and that and blah blah blah. But it's not a justice system. It's just us system. And I want everybody to know that we're not going to see justice, or should I say, quote unquote, true justice, until people like us, because you're not going to get it from government.
Yeah, well, I don't shut up, you know. Like, I still call the lieutenant up there at the jail and ask him how he sleeps at night. And leave him a voicemail, you know what I'm saying? Just because I'm that bitch. I mean...
Fair enough. I get it. I'm just saying in general, though, you're not going to get it from people that have some type of government entity or government tie. So true justice comes from we the people, believe it or not. And we're going to do what we can over here on our side. So just know that you're not alone in it nonetheless. So
I appreciate it so much. You have no idea. Like, I have been, like, you know, this is something that I have been begging for and praying for 4 years, you know? I mean...
I appreciate you reaching out to me. I didn't know nothing about this until you reached out to me.
Yeah, and I found you on Harvey Talks Prison, you know, so...
Yeah, he's a good man.
Yeah, I love Harvey. He's a good guy. Funny as hell, but, you know... I like his little shorts and stuff.
My heart goes to you. There's just no words really, other than let's hold them accountable. Let's get some answers. One way or another, let's get some answers. Don't, you know what? Sink the teeth in and don't let go.
There's an old saying.
I'm not going anywhere. My last breath is whenever I give up. When I can't take my own breath again, then you can say that it's done.
Yeah.
I'll be on a walker, wheelchair, whatever. Come on, y'all, push me over here. I gotta go over here. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna shut up, and they're not gonna. They don't intimidate me. They don't scare me because they have. I live my nightmare every day.
Correct.
Yeah,
You
they
know?
already took. They already took. I tell Jay that all the time.
They
I'm
they
like,
stole my fear away
yeah.
from me. You know, that emotion
Yeah.
is gone. I don't fear anyone or anything or nothing. That's
Correct.
gone
You
because
shouldn't
I
have
live mine
to.
every day.
They're the ones that should fear something. They should fear the wrath that is coming. Because
Correct.
let me tell you something. Nothing that we do in this life that is wrong ever slides by God. I mean, I don't
Nope.
like to get push. I'm not trying to push religion, but I will say this. There is nothing that we can think, say, or do that he doesn't see. And those people, I can't even call them human beings that did this to your son. They will answer and they will pay someday. It may
It'll
not
come in
be in
time.
our time, but we will bring as much awareness to it so that others can be warned
Yeah.
and see
God
that,
knows.
that
God knows
this
the
is a terrible, corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
That's my whole reason doing this because I don't ever want another mother
Yeah.
to have to go through this. You know, I don't want another baby
No.
to grow up without their daddy or mommy.
That's right.
You know, if I could prevent one person from having to go through this, then I think that I've done. You know, I've honored my son in a way that he would want to be honored. You know, like I mean, I have so much compassion and you know for inmates or I hate even calling them inmates because they're not inmates, they're people. But
I call them loved ones.
you call them what?
Loved ones.
Yeah, but you know, like I tell everybody, they have family that loves them. They're not stray animals. They're not rabbit animals. You know what I'm saying? They have a heart and soul too. They have feelings.
They're human
Unless
beings.
they have done something for a child or an elderly person or you know something unspeakable. You know that they should have just been taken off the earth when they was found guilty. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm gonna do anything I can to help the person. You know.
Well,
Even if it's just sending them a card or a letter saying, "Hey, I'm thinking of you." You might not know me, but I'm thinking of you. You know.
Well, here's a piece to that too, though. Even Ted Bundy, for example, his father. If you ever go watch the story about him and watch the story about his father,
Oh, money.
his father was a very good man.
Yeah.
You know, and if Ted had gotten the help he needed when he was a child, the proper
Exactly.
help for the things that were broken in him, a lot of these people, even though their crimes may have or may not have been horrific, what I know now, there's about probably, 35-40% of people that are incarcerated are innocent. Jay, is that our statistic? Do we
It's like
remember?
35%. I think is what he told me.
Yeah, it was 35%, and that's just one county, though. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, so when you think about it, let's just throw it down there. Let's even lower it to 25% out of 100. Mm-hmm. So for every 100 people, 25 are innocent.
Yeah.
Well, I say one is too innocent, and they're charged with horrific crimes to children, elderly, or whatever. So I'm always very, very careful in how I word things, because here's the problem we have. We don't know what that person's situation was when they got incarcerated. And I'm not God. I'm not going to judge them. It's not my job. My job is to say that for anybody that's incarcerated, they're being punished by doing their time. They cannot walk the streets. They cannot just go to the bathroom when they want all the time, because some of them don't have that luxury in certain prisons or set up a certain way. They can't just go to the fridge and grab something to eat. They can't watch and do and be around their families or any of that. That is their punishment. The only job that the guards and the wardens and the people that work at the facility is to maintain that they stay where they're at and cause no harm. That being said, it is not their job to ever put their hands on an inmate.
Well, I'm telling you, one day for one of the They were glad I went there when somebody was putting their hands on my kid because they had the hands put on them.
Well, I mean, it just proves the point that we cannot trust the people that are policing the inmates. I mean, whether it be county and there's a lot more shit that happens in county than prison, actually.
Oh yeah.
If I may,
Girls here have Monday night fights where they actually, get in a cell and either you fight or you get jumped.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
that whole thing.
Let me say this, if I may, real quick, ladies. This again is just merely educational type information. This is not for negative criticism, if you will. This is just educational purposes. But when it comes to all of the mistreatment and whatnot in our jails and prisons, believe it or not, our locked up loved ones do have constitutional rights. May not have all of them, but they do have certain ones. And I'm going to speak on what those are real quick. Number one, they do have the First Amendment. They do not have the second because obviously that's taken away for obvious reasons because you can't carry no more. Nonetheless, you do have the fourth, you do have the fifth, you do have the eighth. And what I'm saying about the eighth is what we're talking about, this mistreatment right here when it comes to our locked up loved ones. The Eighth Amendment to the Constitution basically, if there's any type of mistreatment, like what happened with their son, or something simple like what Tammy said about not being able to use the bathroom, I mean that's just petty. Yeah, absolutely petty. So we have the rights as being in prison and jail because again, it's tax funded. It's it's our taxes. We pay for that stuff. So we have a right to live in decent, not 5-star hotel luxury, but I'm saying we have a right to live in decent living conditions
and proper nutrition. I mean, the nutrition there's not even up to par.
Right. What I'm saying in general, though, is that if there is that type of treatment down to the petty stuff all the way to the major stuff, that's an Eighth Amendment violation, and that's a lawsuit right there.
Well, see, I was telling you, my boyfriend just got out on the 9th out of jail, right? He's the only man that I've known to go in and come out 20 pounds lighter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. They're feeding them like 1,700 calories, a day, and it's
according to the FDA, it's 2,000 calories.
I'm just
the
protein that the inmates are putting in at the end, maybe. If you get my drift,
right?
No, but go ahead, Tammy.
Right now they're on lockdown where my husband's at. They've been on lockdown for like 3-4 weeks now.
Oh man, I'd be freaking out.
They're getting Johnny sacks, so you can explain the Johnny sacks if you want.
I bet it's just the bologna sandwich, ain't it?
Well, in Texas they'll put whatever they want in there. It's like mystery meat or the paper sack. Did you get those, Jay, when you were in there sometimes? No.
They're just basically it's a cold lunch is what it's called.
Yeah.
It's basically they used to do 3 hots, but now it's 2 hot and 1 cold.
Well, here's
they're all cold.
They're all cold by the time they get to them, and then they'll be.
I know. I was speaking hypothetically.
Yeah. No, we're being smart, Alex. So when they get them right, I mean, like I've seen them. I've ate them. I advocate for bad things. Let me just tell you, I'm gonna tell the truth.
I've been blessed. I mean, I've been to jail, but I've been blessed that I didn't have to eat it because I called my mom and I was like, either you come get me or never speak to me again.
Well, like what they get, they'll put like a little teaspoon of peanut butter and then some kind of substance that looks like jelly or appears to be jelly. But
that's a special jelly.
Now I'm gonna get really ugly, but so it's okay to enslave them and put them out there, like the 70%. My husband's African American, by the way, and a veteran. So it's okay to put them out in the fields for the peanut farms here in Texas, but they can't even get more than a teaspoon of peanut butter on a fucking sandwich.
Probably smuggling me some peanuts in.
So I'm like, okay, it's okay to make them slaves legally. You think, that's what they are. Any inmate is a slave.
And I bet if they get caught eating the peanuts, that they get rolled up. I guarantee it.
Oh, they probably get the hell beat out of them. Are you kidding or shocked?
Damn peanut, that ain't your peanut.
But to speak on food real quick, it is based on, from an FDA, the Food Drug Administration, it is based on a 2,000 calorie diet situation. And the reason why the inmates cannot go after them, or I should say the loved ones can't go after them for the food issue, is because they keep it right at a threshold at 2,000 calories. Just so you know.
Unless they get caught not doing that, and that's going to be kind of hard.
They have.
Here, he was lucky to get 2 bites, like of everything that he was eating when he was in jail. He said he got 2 bites of everything that was on his tray.
Yeah, and that's why you have to that's why you have to order commissary, because you're not getting enough on the food trays.
Yeah. And I mean, he was starving.
That food,
like say he lost 25 pounds. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a lot of weight to lose in less than a month.
Yeah, and I'll even prove it. Hold on, stand by.
I mean,
go ahead and talk, you guys.
It's just terrible, you know.
Yeah, I wish I had enough money or would hit the lotto so that I could start a commissary that had actually healthy foods at a reasonable rate that an outbid or convince Amazon or somebody to come in and pick up all the contracts with the prisons. Yeah. Man, that would be so awesome, where we could order straight from Amazon.
Man, the noodles here, 1 pack's $2. 1 pack of noodles.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can show this up on the camera for advertising or copyright issues, but I do have something here. You guys don't know what this is, right? I can't really show it. It's soup.
Oh, noodles? Ramen noodles?
Yeah, I don't know if I can show it. I don't get it.
I'm not monetized anyway.
Oh, you could say that it's just say that
Top
it's
Ramen.
Top Ramen. We give it is their brand, their trademarked brand. We're just showing and advertising your product.
Okay. Anyways, listen to this, guys. In the ingredients, it's 650 milligrams of sodium, and that's in just one of these.
Mm-hmm.
So just imagine if you eat 2, that's 650. You know, and you eat those every day. Imagine what that does to your heart, your blood, and all that fun.
Plus the Cheetos and, you know, the summer sausages or whatever you're putting in it, you know,
the chips and the crackers, the cheese and the meat slices. Yeah. So you guys,
processed and not good for you.
It's all processed. It's very high in sodium, very high in sugar.
The only thing I found that I could order him that was semi.
My question is
was oatmeal.
Right, exactly. My question is this: how come the FDA don't monitor this, but they monitor the state?
Another thing too is, what about the stuff that is not fit for human consumption?
Human consumption,
it's marked not fit for human consumption, and they're serving
on the package.
In the prisons.
Yep, it is. It's on the package.
Y'all knew that, but
I knew that. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know that, Jay?
What was that again? I'm sorry. I was reading the chat.
Not fit for human consumption.
Correct. I used to work in the kitchen. I that's an honest to God real statement. What Tammy said there is true. I used to work in the kitchen in prison, and on all the containers that we were making this food with, well, we don't really make it no more because it gets shipped on trucks. But nonetheless, that comes in says right on the containers and the boxes and everything, not made for human consumption. And we're feeding this stuff to them on our tax dime.
Yeah. Well, here they was feeding that to them, but on top of it, it was moldy, or it was spoiled.
I wouldn't be surprised.
You know, I mean,
get real meat in there because it saves the state money.
Like the company here that's contracted to take the meals to the prisoners, like in Virginia. I worked for the company, and it's called Aramark. They've got an actual lawsuit against them because they was taking old, outdated food that was already spoiled and molded to the jails for the prisoners.
Yes. I don't care for them. I'm not a very happy keeper with their service, and that's funny that you work for them because I did
for 30 days, and then they let me go because they said it was a trial.
Yeah, they do cater. They do cater to the wealthy people, and their meals are looking really nice over there. But if it's the same company, why can't they give that same food to our inmates? See, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, even if it's almost at the expire date, why can't you, take it about a week before it's supposed to expire and give it to them? I mean, it's still good. It might not be as good as it was whenever it was first made, but it's still good.
Correct. They don't.
I think
we
they do
don't-
it for punishment, just to be assholes. You know what I'm saying? Just to get a giggle out of it.
They
you
don't
get
cook
off on
it in prisons anymore. They just get it shipped on trucks. It's a lot easier. So that's all we're at. But man, this has been an interesting podcast. Very interesting.
Oh, thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. That was sweet. You made me cry.
What did he say?
He said your son is already honored because he has you as a mother.
Yeah.
I know that. Like, I know my name, or my own name.
Great. Well, I was
Well, I
thinking I'm
appreciate you
I'm going to give you a virtual hug, Wanda.
Thank you. I
We're all in
appreciate
this together. Don't stress,
I'm a
Wanda.
crybaby.
You're going to be okay, Wanda. You're in good hands now.
I appreciate it.
You're not
It's going to be a lot of
alone.
work.
That's the thing. You're not alone. Just know that. You're never
Nope.
alone.
Nope.
And you know
No.
your son's there with you.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a part of you and you're a part of him, and you're inseparable. You know that, right? I mean,
Oh,
Look at it
we
like
always
this.
he
was.
knows.
If I may, look at it like this. Your son is actually home in a better place. He's not even in that rotten piece of crap jail. So
He's not hurting. He's not
hurting
in
anymore.
pain.
he's in peace and he's with
He's
you
happy
right
and
now.
he's waiting.
Mhm.
He's
Yeah, I
happy
know.
and he's waiting.
Don't give up.
Oh, I'm not. You ain't got to worry about that. Like I said, I'll fight till, they take my last breath. They'll have to kill me to get me to quit. And that's just the fact of it. I mean, and that's just me being truthful about it. If you want me to shut up, then you better take me out.
That's the spirit. That's what you can do.
So,
Well, it was an honor to be up here.
I appreciate it. And I really appreciate y'all coming up, and talking and get, even informing, the chat, about stuff like this, because I'm sure some of them don't know,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah,
a majority of everyone I talk to is either had someone incarcerated, you know what I'm saying? So,
Correct.
well, it kind of makes us all family after a while, because
yeah.
until you go through it, you don't understand
Mhm.
just how terrible and corrupt and sheer evil
Yeah.
the whole system is. It is not set up for rehabilitation. There is nothing positive it's set up for.
No, they set them up for failure.
Yes, they do.
No, man, that is a true statement. Yes, that's not just a saying.
I mean, they're not rehabilitating these guys, I mean, if they even care about, especially the ones that's got drug issues, you know what I'm saying? They wouldn't put them in jail the first go around. They would offer them a rehab center.
There's no
You know?
classes. There's no teaching nothing.
But they don't want to, because the prison and the jails want this funding.
It's
You
all
know?
about a business. Correct.
Yeah, it's about throwing $8, and it's just
The amount of money that came last year, and it'll be even more this year at the end of this year, but last year was $400 billion of tax dollars money coming in.
Mhm.
So just think about that. That's annually. So
man, why is our loved ones living in facilities like they are, with mold and no running water in places, being starved? You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Don't have
Because-
underwear provided
because
for them.
the money does not go for what it's supposed to go for. It goes in somebody else's pocket. It's a profitable business, and they don't give a rat's ass about our loved ones. That's
Exactly.
So
But yet we can do that, and then we can go over and tell other countries how to run their countries and how terrible they
And they can even
are
run their own.
and all the things. And I mean, I don't know how many people in the chat or in here know, but
I have
our
8.
government incarcerates more
Our
people
government's shit.
than the rest of the whole world.
They don't
not
care
just-
about us. They care about the other countries and what they're getting from them. Because it's filling their pockets, and it's not,
It's
happening
about,
to be.
yeah, it's about money and power. But
Yeah.
we have more
An empty bed.
prisoners than anywhere else in the world.
Yep. An empty
More
bed is no
prisons.
money. A full bed is money. So
Just
they
like
got
the hospital, they want to keep a full capacity.
to.
Mhm.
because they get that insurance money.
Yep. Exactly right.
Fear creates control.
We need to take our prison system and do it like Norway's doing it. And I did a show on that about the difference between our country's prisons and Norway's prisons. And I'll say
Man,
this.
I've seen some other places, prisons, that they're like living in dorms almost. You know what I'm saying? They got their own little area. And I mean, it's
like an apartment.
jail, yeah, but it's, you know.
But they get treated better. They get treated better across the board, and their
They're
recidivism
treated like humans.
right. Their recidivism rate is low. I mean, they don't go back.
Exactly.
So I mean, we need to implement. We need to do the same thing here in this country on that. But
I totally
again,
agree.
They don't want to cough up the profits.
I think that if you're gonna be a correctional officer or work in a correctional facility, you should have to go do 90 days. In a facility that don't know that you're going to be doing, that you're not going to be a correctional officer, don't know shit about you, you're just there for a certain crime, and you do your 90 days to see if you can hold out.
DOC officers need to wear body cams.
We
Go ahead.
Jay and I have been throwing this around, but I think that every member of Congress, I think every
politician,
judicial system person, being from the judge at the tippy top to the attorney that gets pulled in to be what do we call them, Jay? Public pretenders.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I call them.
So you know, we need everybody in law enforcement. My father was a cop, by the way, Wanda, just so you know. And I can't say, but somebody else very dear to me is a cop that's incarcerated as well, another person. So so just
they have it hard too. Is the cops that get locked up? You know, they have it just as hard as or harder than most
actually. They
people.
Get killed.
Yeah,
they get killed. And so anyway, I think that they all should have to serve time per se. They need to know that when they're making these decisions to put somebody in prison like that, what it's about. And I'm not even sure about juries anymore because
they're rigged. They're rigged too.
They're rigged too. A lot of those, though, you know.
On there, and then how do you know a person's not racist? How do you know a person's not
correct?
Got something in their background that affects their decision. They're human beings, so how can they leave feeling and all of that out? How many people do you know could not put their feelings involved into it?
And like I tell you, that you don't know who don't know the person that's going up there for trial. Maybe the judge's loved one knows that person has a vendetta against them.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's hard to find a jury of 12 people that are your peers too.
Well, see, my community's so small, everybody knows everybody. Yeah. Pretty much, you know what I'm saying? Or know somebody that knows that somebody.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
so I mean, I couldn't be on a jury. I just couldn't do it.
No, me either. Not now. It's just too broken. Everything's just too broken.
Yeah, it's a mess.
We have to rebuild. It's like
they'd be holding me in contempt of court.
You have a house that has so much wrong with it that even if it has a halfway decent frame, it's just one piece away from collapsing. It's better just to knock the house down and rebuild.
Yeah.
And don't rebuild on the same foundation because you might have issues there.
Yeah, that's right. Just demolish everything and start over.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's what they said over some of these jails here, especially like the one that my son was in. I mean, they had 120 some deaths in a decade. And 15 of those was within 1 year.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and they get by with it, like, and the young man Burks that I was telling you about, that they 6 correction officers beat him to death while he was handcuffed, and one of the nurses that worked for the medical staff offered to inject him with insulin to make it look like a natural causes.
Wow.
Yeah.
This makes me sick, like I said.
And those are the only ones that's been held responsible for anything.
Taking care of
it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming with the amount of stuff that just this little group has to do. And just imagine if I tried to take on the whole entire 50 states
Yeah.
on this. I would never
Right.
get nothing.
I'd
But,
like to be judge and jury for the people that's
Speak
had
for
these stuff
yourself,
happen to them.
Jay.
You know what I'm saying? I'd like to be able to
That's
sentence the correctional officers and the, you know, let me be the judge and the jury. Because we'll take them out here and hang them. I
Well,
mean,
what I've been watching though, so I'm big not into vigilante because I've seen the results of that, but I do believe that we have to find a way to hold people accountable. But
Yes.
I've been watching the O.J. Simpson story on Netflix. I don't know why. The other day I was like, I'm going to start watching this. And I forgot how crazy. I'm 53, so I graduated in 1989.
I graduated in
So
93.
yeah, so that's when my first daughter was born. Great. Thanks, Jay.
well, my first
had
was born
to.
in '93, and then my last was born in 2003.
I had to say
Oh,
it.
wow.
I had to put it
That's
out
so
there.
funny.
So, which I'm
Mine were
45. I'll be
93
46 in
and
October.
96. Two girls.
Oh,
Keisha.
see, I had one. My son that passed away is 95, and then his brother that was born after him, he was born in 96.
Oh.
Yeah, I had 3 of them was 14 months apart each.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and then I had 3 years between my Brian and my Austin, and then I had 5 years between my daughter and my youngest son.
Oh.
Yeah, this coming July, I'll be 59, I think.
What
Ugh.
day in July?
Take a guess.
59.
I'm gonna tell you my son's
53.
birthday.
How
It was
are you
July the 12th.
59?
Charles is that passed away. His
Oh,
was July the 12th.
that's my sibling's birthday is July 12th. Mine's July 4th.
Really? No, see, that was his
That's why
due
you
date.
and Rick get along. Rick's a
Well,
Cancer too. His
yeah.
is July 8th.
My wife's a Cancer. Her birthday is on the 7th.
I say I'm a
Rick
Libra,
is
but
right
I was
there
born on
with
the
y'all.
7th.
He's on the 8th. That's crazy.
There's a lot of July.
Yeah.
So
Well, we all know that I'm fire, so I'm an Aries. So I'm
Yeah, I'm a
nature.
Libra, so
I'm a crab.
I'm a Ram, so sometimes that Rick doesn't have a chance. He's just like,
yeah.
okay,
Actions that's
I'm
in the
leaving her
chat.
alone.
His birthday is the same day as my son's, and then
On July-
Shashanka's is the day after.
Wow, what a quinky dink. That's my sibling's birthday too. Wow.
That's crazy.
Small world.
Yeah.
We
But
need
I appreciate
to,
everybody
we
for
need to
coming,
light
guys.
all of this
Oh, go ahead.
up, though. We
Wow,
need to light
congratulations.
all of this up.
Graduation. That's cool. Right. Well, I don't know. I don't have anything else, but just know, Wanda, that you're not alone in this, and we're going to do what we can to and look into this for you. Okay.
I appreciate everything. I mean, y'all just don't know. Y'all have no idea. Like, like it's kind of almost like a little bit of a relief, but I haven't fully let it go yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still keeping it within grasp. But, I've done this for 4 years. It's, I have researched and,
I've been doing this since
question
2018.
people. I mean, if you go look on my news break, you'll see that I put out, hey, if you have a story or if you was there at this time, and you might have been in the paw of my son, please let me know, I mean.
Well, just keep in mind, tomorrow's show, Tammy is going to be up on there with me. Tomorrow's show is called Man's Night. I changed things up a little bit, try to bring some different, different style, if you will, to my show. And just prison stuff all the time, even though we do end up talking about it sometimes nonetheless. But tomorrow's show is going to be talking about the housing scenario that we got going on with me and Tammy and a few others in this group that we are trying to do. So again, if you guys want to if you guys want to watch, don't miss it. Yeah. If you guys want to watch Man's Night tomorrow, 9:00 Central Standard Time, that's Florida time, be in there and come on up and be a part of the show. I hope you can be in there, Wanda, with us and watch it.
Yeah. Message me tomorrow and remind me.
Okay, yeah, I'll do what I can. But anyways, we're going to do that and talk about our plan with our housing. So when people get out of prison, they got somewhere to go. And
see, me and my boyfriend's wanting to start a nonprofit to help people that's getting out. They don't have a job, but they have to do, they have to either have a job or be, to where we can take them out and let them help clean up like forest areas, for the wildlife and, that way that they are, working off their time, but they're also doing something for the community, and the community's going to get enjoyment out of it too, as well as help the wildlife.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Well,
see,
So-
I mean, that's kind of where we're going with all of this. We want to, with the membership to carry, people will
Yeah.
get nonprofits, specifically advocates, will get a blueprint of how to start a nonprofit, like people that don't have one already. They will
Mhm.
get one they'll get a blueprint to actually know where to go, what organizations to team up with. We will have partners that help with jobs, that help with medical, mental health. They are third-party partners that will be involved with us. We're going to work with parole departments in cities and counties to help
correct.
get them on board, because if we can get that on board and we can show that people have something to actually offer the community, mentorship for young youth that are troubled,
Yeah. See,
high
that's what
risk.
we're going to include them too. Like
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
because my
It's
son was in
important.
juvenile detention center, for 6 months. But I mean, that granted it was 6 months, but still it was 6 months.
Yeah, but it's important because your experience, through your own experience, and who's a better teacher of something than somebody that's been there and done that.
Right.
Yeah,
And that's
Tashanka.
where we
There's a
can
guy that was in there with
help
my
people.
son. I actually know the guy personally, but every time he sees me, he runs the other way. He won't even speak to me.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah. But that's all right. As soon as I get me a vehicle, I know where he lives. I'll go knock on his door. He can't run from his house.
Somebody wrote something to you, Wanda, saying, didn't you tell them that there was somebody that was in there when he was in there that acted like they knew something but were afraid to say something?
Yeah, that's the guy that I know personally, and my son knew personally. Like, my son grew up around the guy. You know what I'm saying? And now when he sees me, he goes the other direction. He won't even acknowledge. He gets away as fast as he can.
Imagine that.
Yeah. But I appreciate everybody for coming. I appreciate the chat for hanging out and keeping the chat going like crazy tonight. I couldn't even keep up with it, really.
I want to say thanks to the mods. They were wonderful
Yeah.
tonight. Appreciate you
They
guys.
did good. I appreciate them
The mods
all. I
have-
mean, I've got a
the mods
wonderful little group. It might be small, but it's a good little group,
The mods have a hard
Right.
job. It's actually a hard job to sit there and try to monitor everybody's comment. It's not easy.
Yeah.
But anyways, Tammy, thank you for being in here and being part of this channel too.
Yeah,
and
I
support.
appreciate all of y'all. I mean, more than
Thank
I
you.
could ever
Too,
put
I
into words.
wasn't trying to barge in. I just
Oh, no,
had
no.
to- I needed
No, this is
you
how
to
we
know.
network and help.
I needed you to know.
Well, that's why I wanted
that
y'all,
you have
wanted
a
him up
fight
here
that you
because
can
I
do.
wanted his help, and any help. I mean, you know,
Yes.
and he has all my information. He can give it to you. I don't mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Again, my email, guys, is voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. Again, voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. Make sure you spell it right. I won't get it. All one word. But that's about it. I'm going to have to bounce, Wanda.
And if y'all need it and you think that you've emailed the wrong person, just get a hold of me and I'll send you the email.
Yeah. Go through her or whatever you got to do. Let's work as a team, though. Let's get this done.
But I appreciate
everybody's
everybody.
invited to our show tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah. My phone's on
cut up
5%.
on Fridays. Fridays we do cut up. We do kind of.
Oh, well, that's
get
cool.
out
Well, we
there,
turn up
Jay.
over here too sometimes. I call it sexual education. So,
Well, I have to always give Jay a hard time. I'm like men's night out, woman.
Yeah, Tammy.
That's right. That's what I always tell everybody. Yeah, you remember, I'm the woman.
I might have to change that title, I suppose, thanks to you.
No, I like it. Leave it alone. It's good.
I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you guys.
So,
But
I'm saying, my phone's on 4%, and I don't want to cut nobody off.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. Love and
Bye,
respect.
guys.
You guys take care. Good night, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Y'all take care. Love you guys. Y'all be careful and have a good
too.
rest of your week.
Guys. Later.
Like
See y'all
most
Friday.
Everyone. Bye
Yep.
bye.
Thank you.
9 o'clock Friday.
All righty.
Bye bye.
Bye, guys.